While we mourn the alarming pace of species extinction, casting a pall over our planet, there's a flip side to this tale of gloom. Picture the spine-chilling beasts so terrifying, their extinction might make your nightmares a tad less scary. Stay with us as we introduce you to 15 nightmarish animals you will be happy are extinct. Number 15, the Titanoboa. Let's dive into the prehistoric age where beasts like Titanoboa reigned supreme. Often we imagine snakes as intimidating creatures slithering around today, but there once existed an ancestor that would make our current reptilian residents seem almost friendly. Meet the Titanoboa, a creature that would redefine your understanding of formidable. Fittingly named as the Titanic Boa, it was a creature of unthinkable terror, lurking in the warm tropical climates of what is now northeastern Colombia. During the Paleocene epoch, approximately 56 to 66 million years ago, our planet was home to the Titanoboa. This serpentine behemoth was the largest of its kind in history, putting our modern snakes to shame. Standing out as the most colossal animal of the era, it has earned its place in paleontological lore, and rightfully so. An average adult Titanoboa stretched around 13 meters or over 40 feet, almost 2.5 times the length of the current record holder, the anaconda, which averages at about 17 feet. Can you picture the enormity of it? In terms of weight, the Titanoboa tipped the scales at around 1,135 kilograms or 1.25 tons. Imagine a creature with the weight of a small car slithering around the forests. It's a heart-stopping thought, isn't it? With a weight equivalent to half of a rhino or nearly 2 grizzly bears, you'd undoubtedly be relieved knowing that this terror is forever sealed in the past. The very idea of its size makes referring to the Titanoboa as merely a snake feel almost disrespectful. However, it's worth noting that this prehistoric giant was a relative of our present-day anacondas and boas. So, in a sense, we're still living amongst the distant cousins of this terrifying creature. Now, how did Titanoboa live and hunt, you may wonder? Much like modern boas, Titanoboa killed its prey by constricting, coiling around its victim with an iron grip. Picture this beast, over a ton in weight and more than 40 feet long, squeezing its prey like a monstrous python. If the image of this prehistoric beast intrigued you, know that a full-scale replica was once displayed at the Grand Central Terminal in New York City back in 2012 as a part of the Titanoboa Monster Snake Show. So, in a way, the monstrous legacy of Titanoboa has survived, continuing to ignite curiosity and send shivers down our spines. Number 14, the Gigantopithecus. Now let's journey back to the Pleistocene era when the colossal Gigantopithecus roamed the tropical forests. With a hefty weight of 660 pounds and height reaching up to 12 feet, this titanic ape surely invokes fear. But here's the good news. They are extinct. There's no chance of an unexpected encounter while strolling through your local park. And guess what? It was initially believed to be a relative of humans, but it was later revealed that the Gigantopithecus was more likely to be a part of the orangutan family. But are you curious about its diet? A variety of hardy plants, roots, tubers, and large fruits. With strong jaws and even stronger teeth, mandibles, and morals with extra thick enamel, the Gigantopithecus was an impressive herbivore, a big plant eater, a true terror for the greens. The massive Gigantopithecus once lurked in the bamboo forests, jungles, and mountains of China, India, and Vietnam. Its size and extraordinary strength made it a formidable resident of the Pleistocene era. Even though it was an herbivore, its sheer size would make any creature, including humans, think twice before approaching. But the Gigantopithecus, despite its intimidating build, fell victim to its own inability to adapt. It couldn't survive when the climate changed about 300,000 years ago. With changing food sources and the encroaching impact of human activity and climate change, this massive beast couldn't consume enough of its preferred food to sustain its large frame. Indeed, even the mighty fall. And although the thought of this giant beast wandering our forests is a chilling one, its extinction reminds us of the importance of evolution and the fragility of life in changing times. Number 13, the Archaeopteryx. In the world of paleontology, every new discovery invites controversy. And guess what? One particular animal at the center of this argument is the Archaeopteryx. Discovered in the 1860s, this puzzling creature left the scientists scratching their heads as they couldn't figure out what group it belonged to. The fossil they found showed that the animal was very different from birds. It had distinct features such as teeth, clawed fingers, and a long, bony tail. But then, when scientists found well-preserved skeletons with feathers, it made them question what they thought before. They started thinking about the possibility that maybe these creatures were birds or something similar to birds. The clawed fingers, once a source of confusion, now pointed to a fearsome predator, hinting at the fact that it used these to catch and trap its prey. Even though not many people know about the Archaeopteryx as they do about other prehistoric animals, it is still super interesting. It's a bit of a mystery because it has features that are both like birds and mammals. It's kind of strange and terrifyingly unusual, but luckily it lived a long time ago. Number 12. The Helicoprion Shark. It's time for the terrifying tale of the Helicoprion, the extinct shark fondly nicknamed the buzzsaw shark. This fascinating creature from nearly 290 million years ago had a startling dental arrangement that resembled the deadly tool it's named after. Its teeth were set in spiraling whorls, an architectural anomaly in nature that has left scientists intrigued yet unsure of its exact mechanics. What's indisputable, though, is the lethal damage these teeth could inflict. The Helicoprion was a global terror, inhabiting waters across North America, Eastern Europe, Asia, and Australia. The limited fossil record doesn't reveal the full image of this marine nightmare, yet it provides enough insight to sketch a rather menacing portrait. Consider this. A tooth discovered in Idaho from a Helicoprion measured a staggering 18 inches long, indicating that the original shark would have been at least 33 feet long. Another 24-inch-long tooth hints at an even more monstrous 39-foot-long shark, and these may just have been juveniles. This almost 40-foot-long predator is one of history's greatest underwater behemoths. Its size would tower over the average telephone pole, making its presence in today's oceans an unfathomable dread. If you dare, close your eyes and imagine its unique, buzzsaw-like mouth opening wide, the spiraled teeth in full, chilling display. It's the stuff of nightmares. Today, paleontologists continue uncovering alarming details about this shark, each new piece adding to the already terrifying image of the Helicoprion. This extinct shark, with its eerily rotating tooth whorl, though, is a haunting reminder of our planet's prehistoric past and the terror lurking in ancient depths. Fortunately for us, this marine nightmare is a chapter confined to history. Number 11. The Sea Scorpion Pentacopterus. So let us explore the prehistoric depths of the Paleozoic era, a time teeming with peculiar and menacing creatures. Of these ancient inhabitants, the sea scorpions or eurypterids were both fascinating and formidable. Most species were relatively small and mundane, crawling along the ocean floor and occasionally venturing on land. But one species has piqued the interest of paleontologists, the Pentacopterus sea scorpion. Dating back approximately over 467 million years ago, the Pentacopterus was an anomaly amongst its kin. It boasted an impressive size, reaching lengths up to 5 feet 7 inches. With multiple pairs of spiky appendages. It was, at the time of its discovery, one of the largest arthropods ever found. Take a moment to imagine living in an era where these gigantic sea scorpions reigned supreme. In today's world, the idea of an 8-foot-long arthropod is traumatizing, to say the least. Yet another contender for the title soon emerged, the Gigantopithecus renina, which measured over 8 feet in length. The Pentacopterus was not just a size marvel, it was a feared predator. Its narrow body and powerful, grasping limbs were perfect tools for trapping prey. Given its massive stature, we can only speculate what creatures could have been on its menu had our evolutionary paths crossed. Today's scorpions, though venomous, are relatively small and manageable. But in a time when insects grew to the size of house cats and millipedes were as long as 3 meters, the Pentacopterus and its kin would have been a force to be reckoned with. Number 10. The Arthropleura. You know, when it comes to creatures in the natural world, insects have a knack for pushing the boundaries of what we find creepy. And let us tell you, the ancient Arthropleura takes the cake when it comes to supersizing already unsettling critters. So picture this. If just the thought of coming face to face with a regular millipede gives you the heebie-jeebies, get ready for a shocker. The Arthropleura was on top of all land-dwelling invertebrates. It makes today's millipedes look like tiny noodles in comparison. This bad boy stretched out to a whopping 2.5 meters of pure nightmare fuel. This giant insect hailed from the Carboniferous period about 300 million years ago. Also, the modern millipedes are mainly plant eaters and pose no threat to U.S. humans. But the diet of this ancient version remains a mystery. Could it have been an omnivore? Maybe even a predator? We don't know about you, but the idea of a giant bug with a taste for anything is seriously unsettling. Just imagine coming across one of these monstrous bugs, whether it's during the day or in the dark of night. It's enough to send shivers down your spine, right? For most people, the Arthropleura is best left in the history books. It serves as a chilling reminder that even the tiniest creatures weren't so tiny back in the day. Let's just be glad we don't have to worry about crossing paths with this ancient insect anytime soon. Number 9. The Dunkleosteus. Let's rewind to about 360 million years ago, a time when one of the most terrifying creatures roamed the planet's oceans, the Dunkleosteus. This was no ordinary marine creature. It was one of the largest known sea creatures of its time, growing over 32 feet long and covered in a strong armor of thick plates. The animal was almost impossible to be hurt or hunted by other creatures. But don't get us wrong, the Dunkleosteus was not merely a formidable armored fortress. It was also a predator of extraordinary capability. Unlike other animals, this monster didn't use normal teeth. Instead, it had sharp bones in its mouth. But don't think of that as a bad thing. It actually helped a lot. With its unique way of moving, called a 4-bar linkage mechanism, Dunkleosteus could quickly open its mouth in a shocking 20 milliseconds, snatching its prey before they had any chance of escape. Once captured, the prey faced a terrifying fate. The Dunkleosteus's bite force was estimated at a staggering 1,164 pounds at the tip, forceful enough to easily slice through the skin of its opponents. This combination of speed, strength, and sharp, bony weapons won Dunkleosteus the title of the topmost predator of its time. While the world's seas harbor many creatures that inspire awe and a healthy dose of fear, this armored titan is thankfully not one of them. It serves as a stark reminder of the Earth's dynamic past, filled with creatures more formidable than we can imagine. Number 8. Terror birds. So sit tight and venture back with us into the Cenozoic era, about 1.8 million years ago, to a time when the sight of a 10-foot-tall bird was not uncommon. Welcome to the era of the terror birds. These gigantic avian creatures were flightless yet formidable, reigning as apex predators in South America. These behemoths were not just limited to the southern hemisphere, they migrated across the continent, claiming territories in North America as well. The terror birds, as their name suggests, were creatures that induced fear. One glance at their unusual neck structure explains why. Flexible yet powerful, designed for swift, lethal strikes. Imagine being smacked in the face by a speeding head of such a giant bird, an encounter one would unlikely survive. But these birds weren't just muscle. They were fast, incredibly fast. Capable of reaching speeds of 30 miles per hour, these predators were not only fast enough to chase down swift animals like rabbits, but also powerful enough to potentially take down larger prey. However, research suggests they likely favored smaller, more convenient meals. Terror birds ruled the predatory roost in South and North America during the Miocene, Pliocene, and early Pleistocene periods until carnivorous mammals, including big cats, gradually took over the top predator spot. As imposing as they were, the terror birds were not built for flight. Instead, their strong legs carried them swiftly across the landscape, and their size and speed, combined with a head that could grow up to a meter long, made them an undeniable threat to creatures as large as dogs, horses, and even camels. If humans had lived during their time, they too might have been on the terror birds menu. And we bet you would agree when we say it definitely brings some relief, knowing that these creatures are relics of the past, and we don't have to worry about becoming their delicious next meal. Number 7. Megalodon. Cast your minds way back to a time approximately 20 million years ago. A time when the oceans were not just home to the sharks we know today, but also to the behemoth known as the Megalodon, an apex predator that makes the great white look like a guppy. Thankfully, it became extinct over 3.5 million years ago, sparing us from a terror of unimaginable proportions. The Megalodon reigned supreme in the seas, growing up to an astonishing 59 feet long. Its colossal jaws were a force to be reckoned with, exerting a bite force of around 40,000 pounds, making it one of the most formidable predators that have ever lived. No sea creature was safe. From whales and sea turtles to seals, the Megalodon targeted them all, ruthlessly breaking through their chest cavities to puncture lungs and hearts. The Megalodon was built like the great white shark, but it had a wider jaw and strong fins that made it unique. It didn't stick to one place in the world either. It roamed the oceans near Europe, Africa, Australia, and the Americas, so nowhere was safe from this powerful sea predator. Today, we lose about 150 species daily, significantly diminishing our wildlife every decade. And yet, it's hard to mourn the absence of a creature as deadly as the Megalodon. Some might even argue that it's a relief. Its gigantic size, unmatched predatory prowess, and insatiable appetite paint a chilling picture of prehistoric oceans. Number 6. Allosaurus. Get your gear on because we're about to dive into the prehistoric world and meet the formidable Allosaurus, the largest predator of the Jurassic period. This carnivorous dinosaur ruled the land, measuring about 28 feet long and weighing a staggering 4 tons. Just envision the sheer intimidation radiating from this ancient predator. But here's where the terror intensifies. The Allosaurus wasn't a solo hunter. It thrived in packs, leveraging the combined force of its fellow dinosaurs to take down formidable prey. Imagine a coordinated ambush, with multiple Allosauruses closing in on their unsuspecting victims. It's a nightmare scenario that sends shivers down your spine. Although the Allosaurus didn't make an appearance in Jurassic Park, don't underestimate its ferocity. If the T-Rex were to face off against a pack of Allosauruses, it would surely meet its match. You can think of the Allosaurus as the Michael Caine of the dinosaur world, surrounded by perilous obstacles and dangerous jumps. The Allosaurus represents the apex predator of its time, instilling a sense of awe and fear. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Talk about a reality check. This site just blows your mind and messes with your sense of scale. The sheer size of this dinosaur makes the trailer look like a toy car. It really gives you an appreciation for the might and power that a creature like the Allosaurus must have had. But at the same time, you can't help but wonder, is this for real? And that's where you come in. We need your help to make sense of this incredible encounter. Do you think this image closely resembles any of the animals that we have introduced in this video? Number 5. Sarcosuchus, the giant crocodiles. In the realm of terrifying predators, crocodiles already command a fearsome reputation. But imagine encountering a crocodile that was twice the size of our modern-day counterparts. Enter the Sarcosuchus, a colossal prehistoric crocodile that Steve Irwin, the famed crocodile enthusiast, never had the chance to encounter. Around 135 million years ago, this giant crocodile roamed what is now Africa, making it one of the largest croc-like reptiles to have ever graced our planet. Measuring twice the length of our modern saltwater crocodile, the Sarcosuchus was a true behemoth that feasted on any unfortunate creature that crossed its path. Its sheer size alone is enough to send a shiver down your spine. But wait, there's more. Paleontologists have uncovered fossils from the same region that reveal the existence of not just one, but 4 different species of these prehistoric crocodilians. Each species had its own unique ecological niche, amplifying the diversity of giant nightmares with their formidable teeth. While our modern-day crocodiles are already imposing predators, the notion of making them even larger is a surefire way to escalate the terror. Fortunately, these colossal creatures are no longer a threat in our modern world. Yet their existence leaves us in awe and wonder, sparking our imagination as we contemplate the immense power and ferocity that once prowled the ancient rivers and marshes. Number 4. Walking worm. Can you imagine bumping into a creature called the walking worm or the walking cactus? Those names alone make you sit up and take notice, right? Well, don't worry too much, because this weird little guy, officially dubbed Dionaea cactiformis, has long been extinct. This freaky critter was discovered by a chap named Jiani Liu from China's Northwest University. He found fossils of this spiky beast that showed it was covered in jointed legs, kind of like an armored worm. And these fossils are old, like 520 million years old. So they give us a peek into a time when Earth was crawling with all sorts of oddballs. Now, the walking worm wasn't exactly a giant, it was about 2.4 inches long. but it had this cool feeding mechanism with a proboscis, a long, flexible snout, on its front end for gobbling up nutrients. What really made it special, though, were its 10 pairs of spiky, jointed legs. They weren't just for walking. They were a huge step in evolution. See, these legs are like a missing link showing how we got from lobopodians to arthropods. If you look at modern bugs with jointed bodies and heads, they owe a lot to critters like the walking worm. It's pretty wild to think about what the world was like when the walking worm was around. But what's even cooler is how these discoveries are still helping us unravel the secrets of our planet's ancient inhabitants. Even though they're long gone, these creatures give us a look into the ever-changing story of life on Earth and how everything is interconnected in one way or another. Number 3. Megapiranha. Between 8 and 10 million years ago, worlds celebrated the extinction of the Megapiranha, bringing a sigh of relief to anyone who values their limbs. While most people are aware of the ferocity of regular piranhas, the thought of a fish with the name Megapiranha is nothing short of terrifying. Living during the late Miocene, the Megapiranha was a fish that weighed around 22 pounds and measured 28 inches in length. But it wasn't just its size that made it formidable. This ancient predator possessed double rows of zigzag teeth and a bite force exceeding 1,000 pounds. Imagine encountering a fish with a bite capable of such incredible power. If the Megapiranha were still around today, forget about leisurely swims. Its size and attitude made it way more fearsome than our modern piranhas. You know the show River Monsters: Prehistoric Terror? The host, Jeremy Wade, did a comparison and contrast with modern piranhas. The difference was night and day. Our current piranhas look like guppies next to their terrifying ancestors. But hey, the good news is we don't have to worry about a Megapiranha chowing down on our toes during a swim. It's gone extinct, so our limbs are safe and sound. We can enjoy a nice swim without fearing this prehistoric water nightmare. Number 2. The Hallucigenia Fortis. So, are you ready to dive headfirst into the absolutely strange world of this creature called the Hallucigenia Fortis? It's so odd that even those brainy paleontologists were left scratching their heads. You see, this creature was first thought to be an aquatic worm, but they were so wrong. It was actually Simon Conway Morris who gave it its fitting name, Hallucigenia, because it's so surreal and dreamlike it might as well have come from a hallucination. And the fossils are insane. The thing had spikes and tentacles all over the place. Most scientists looked at it and just threw their hands up in frustration. But not Conway Morris. He stuck with it and managed to unravel a few of its secrets. To this day, experts are still arguing over how this bizarre creature functioned. Its body structure is like a weird puzzle, just waiting for someone to crack it. From what we do know, it was straight up freaky. Imagine a worm, but instead of being smooth and squishy, it's covered in tentacles and spikes. Definitely not something you'd want to bump into on a dark night. But hey, don't worry, these spooky critters aren't around anymore. They do, however, serve as a stark reminder of the incredible and varied life forms that used to inhabit our planet. So the Hallucigenia Fortis really throws a spanner in the works when it comes to our understanding of prehistoric life. It leaves us with a load of questions and a heap of space for our imaginations to run wild. Number 1. The Andrew Sarkis. Prepare to meet the enigmatic Andrew Sarkis. This amazing creature from the past is like no other animal you've seen today. Its appearance is like a blend of a horse, a sheep, and a goat, creating a truly unique and captivating creature. Standing as tall as horses and weighing nearly a ton, Andrew Sarkis were fearsome carnivores. But what sets them apart is their unusual feature of hooves, instead of the padded feet with claws that we usually link with predators. To put things into perspective, think of it like a massive creature with the body close to a wolf, but with hooves as its feet. These strange beasts were not only skilled hunters capable of taking down their own prey, but they were also smart and would take advantage of any food they could find, even if it was already dead. They roamed the lands of Mongolia during the late Eocene era, reaching lengths of around 18 feet and towering at nearly 7 feet in height. This makes us wonder that encountering one of these creatures in a dark alley would surely be an intimidating experience. Although Andrew Sarkis has long been extinct, it holds the title of being the largest land mammalian carnivore to have ever walked the earth. So it goes without saying that its existence sparks our imagination and curiosity, making us wonder about the diverse forms life has taken throughout history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.